Rule 1 of 12. Here is Rule 1 of 12. Professional airport thieves can swipe a high-end laptop in under 4 seconds before you even realize it is gone. Imagine you are at George Bush Intercontinental Airport in Houston. Abigail, a 23-year-old pediatrician, was heading to a medical conference. She placed her gray bin on the conveyor belt and prepared to walk through. But then, a passenger ahead started fumbling with a pocket full of coins and a heavy belt buckle. Abigail got stuck behind him. By the time she stepped through the metal detector, her bin was already at the end of the line, and it was empty. Thieves call this the sandwich maneuver. It is a simple but devastatingly effective trick. One person intentionally blocks the security line, while an accomplice ahead grabs your electronics from the belt. Stop. This happens every single day in busy international hubs. Never push your bin onto the belt until you are the very next person to walk through that scanner. If you have a jacket, use it to cover your valuables inside the bin, to hide them from wandering eyes. Abigail lost a $3,000 MacBook because of a 10-second distraction. Houston is a massive airport, and you must maintain total focus. Reality check. Security cameras exist, but recovering a stolen laptop in a sea of thousands of travelers is nearly impossible once the thief blends into the crowd. Your gear is only safe when it is in your hands or under your direct supervision. Abigail learned the hard way, but the anarchy only increases once you step away from the security checkpoint and head toward the gate. Rule 2 of 12. Moving to Rule 2 of 12. Skip that public airport USB port unless you want to hand over your bank login to a complete stranger. Sophia, a 29-year-old graphic artist, was waiting for her flight at Portland International. Her phone battery hit the dreaded 3% mark. She saw a communal charging station and felt a momentary wave of relief. She plugged in her cord and relaxed. But that free electricity often comes with a very high, hidden price tag. Hackers can modify these public USB ports to install malware or siphon sensitive data directly from your device. This is known in the cybersecurity world as juice jacking. The fix is remarkably simple and costs less than $15. Carry a USB data blocker. It is a tiny device, barely an inch long, that physically disconnects the data pins while allowing power to flow into your battery. Sophia did not have one. Within 48 hours of her trip, she noticed unauthorized charges appearing on her primary credit card. The risk is high in major terminals with high foot traffic, so always carry your own wall plug and use a standard AC outlet instead. It is important to note that while juice jacking is a known technical threat, many modern phones have software protections that ask if you want to trust the connected device. Still, a physical blocker is the only way to be certain. Now, prepare for the hidden dangers lurking inside those exclusive premium lounges you thought were safe. Rule 3 of 12. Rule 3 of 12 is about a common mistake made in high-end spaces. Hazel, a 35-year-old librarian, leaned back in a plush velvet chair at the Humberto Delgado Airport in Lisbon. She had paid $500 for an annual membership, believing it was her ultimate shield against airport chaos. She assumed the lounge staff would walk through and announce her flight, or that the overhead speakers would keep her informed. She was wrong. A high-priced membership does not buy you a personal concierge. It often buys you a false sense of security. She sat there enjoying an espresso while her flight board silently flipped from boarding to gate closed. Here is the critical fix. Never trust lounge audio. Many airlines and airport authorities now designate lounges as silent zones to maintain a peaceful atmosphere for business travelers. This means they will not announce gate changes or final boarding calls over the speakers. Always set a vibrating alarm on your phone for exactly 10 minutes before the scheduled boarding time. Hazel missed her flight by exactly 3 minutes and had to pay for a new ticket out of her own pocket. Politeness and prestige will not reopen a locked jet bridge door once the manifest is finalized. Remember that lounges are private entities, and their staff are not responsible for your flight schedule. Now that you know how to stay alert in the lounge, let us look at the dangers waiting in the most private part of the terminal. Rule 4 of 12. Did you know that a bathroom door at Los Angeles International is actually a thief's favorite tool? Rule 4 of 12 highlights a vulnerability most people ignore. Grayson, a 31-year-old high school teacher, learned this lesson during a short layover. He went into a stall, hung his backpack on the door hook, and sat down. He looked down for just a second to adjust his shoes. In that heartbeat, a hand reached over the top of the stall door. Grayson froze in shock. By the time he could react, his bag was gone, lifted right off the hook by someone in the next stall. The fix is to change your habits immediately. Never use the door hook for anything valuable. Instead, place your bag on the floor, wedged firmly between your feet, or keep the strap looped around your leg. If you absolutely must hang it, loop the strap through the hook twice so it cannot be lifted straight up in one motion. Reality check. Airport security cannot monitor the inside of bathroom stalls for privacy reasons, making them a perfect blind spot for opportunistic criminals. Grayson never saw his laptop or his passport again. That stall became a temporary prison of his own making. But what happens when the danger follows you out of the terminal and moves inside the airplane cabin itself? Rule 5 of 12. Rule 5 of 12 reveals a shocking statistic. Over 60% of mid-flight thefts happen right above your head while you are catching some sleep. Sebastian, a 44-year-old urban planner, learned this nightmare lesson on a red-eye flight out of London Heathrow. He stowed his leather carry-on in the bin directly above his seat, row 12. Then he fell into a deep sleep. Somewhere over the Atlantic, a thief stood up, pretending to look for a blanket. He rummaged through Sebastian's bag in the dark cabin. Most people believe the overhead bin is a safe vault. It is not. It is a total blind spot. Here is the strategic fix. Place your bag in the overhead bin across the aisle from your seat, rather than directly above you. This way, if someone opens that bin or touches your bag, they are in your direct line of sight, even if you are reclining. Sebastian woke up to find his wallet and watch missing. This maneuver works because thieves rely on the fact that passengers rarely look across the aisle at other people's luggage. While flight attendants are trained to spot suspicious behavior, they cannot track every hand that enters a bin during a 10-hour flight. Now, get ready for a different kind of danger that has nothing to do with thieves and everything to do with your own body. Rule 6 of 12. Rule 6 of 12 could quite literally save your life. You must stand up and walk for at least 5 minutes every hour you are in the air. David, a 52-year-old tax auditor from Pittsburgh, did not want to bother his sleeping neighbor in the middle seat. He stayed pinned in his window seat for 8 hours straight on a flight from PIT to London. Toward the end of the trip, he felt a dull, nagging ache in his right calf. He dismissed it as a simple cramp from the cramped economy seating. It was not a cramp. Long-distance travel in a confined space puts you at risk for deep vein thrombosis, or DVT, which is a life-threatening blood clot. To stay safe, you should flex your feet every 30 minutes and stay aggressively hydrated to keep your blood moving. David realized the danger only when his leg began to swell, nearly 2 inches larger than the other. Most flights end safely, but prolonged immobility is a genuine medical risk that increases with age and certain health conditions. David's doctor later told him he was lucky the clot did not travel to his lungs. It is a sobering reminder that comfort should never come before health. Now that you are safe inside the cabin, let us talk about what happens when your flight does not even leave the ground. Rule 7 of 12. Rule 7 of 12 focuses on your rights when the airline fails you. Gabriel, a 38-year-old civil engineer, stood at gate K12 at Munich Airport. His flight to Boston was stuck on the tarmac for 3 hours. The gate agent simply shrugged and blamed the weather. But Gabriel looked out the window and saw perfectly clear, sunny skies across the entire airfield. He felt powerless against the corporate giant. Stop. Here is the professional fix. He politely asked the agent for a written statement of the delay reason. This is a critical step because it forces the airline to document the actual cause in writing. Under European law, specifically EU Regulation 261/2004, passengers may be entitled to significant compensation if a delay is within the airline's control, such as a mechanical failure or crew scheduling issue. Gabriel eventually received a voucher and later a cash settlement because the weather excuse was actually a cover for a broken de-icer. It works because a paper trail is much harder to ignore than a verbal excuse. In the United States, DOT regulations are different, but the principle of documenting the delay remains the same. Gabriel made his meeting the next day, but he did it with a check in his pocket. Now, let us look at the digital nightmare that can happen right in your seat. Rule 8 of 12. Have you ever felt someone's eyes lingering just a second too long on your laptop screen? Rule 8 of 12 is about digital privacy. Ella, a 47-year-old stockbroker, was flying out of Nashville when she decided to finish a confidential financial report. The passenger in seat 4B was very chatty and seemed friendly enough, but as Ella worked, his gaze constantly shifted toward her display. He was shoulder surfing, a low-tech but highly effective way to steal corporate secrets or personal identities. One leaked figure or one visible password could destroy $1 million deal or compromise an entire bank account. The fix is a simple $25 privacy filter that snaps onto your screen. It uses micro-louver technology to black out the display for anyone who is not sitting directly in front of it. Ella noticed the man's reflection in the window, saw him squinting to see her screen, and immediately shut her laptop. Reality check. While these filters are excellent, they do not block someone standing directly behind you. So always be mindful of your surroundings. Ella avoided a massive security breach by being proactive. But while your screen is now protected, what about the vehicle you left back home or at the airport curb? Rule 9 of 12. Rule 9 of 12 covers a high-tech threat that starts at your front door. Over 90% of modern car thefts now involve signal boosting rather than breaking glass. Camilla, a 26-year-old physical therapist, left her keys on her kitchen counter before heading to Phoenix Sky Harbor. Outside her house, a thief used a $20 electronic device to pick up the signal from her key fob and relay it to her SUV in the driveway. The car thought the key was right at the door. Camilla watched from her window, frozen in total shock, as her brand-new car started silently and drove away in seconds. Stop! Here is the fix. Buy a Faraday pouch for less than $15. This is a small bag lined with metallic fabric that blocks all electromagnetic signals. If you do not have one, keep your keys at least 20 feet away from exterior walls or drop them into a metal coffee tin. Camilla's car was eventually recovered by the police, but the trauma remained. Now, her keys stay shielded in a pouch every single night. This simple step protects your most expensive asset while you are miles away. Are you ready for more? The next secret about your luggage could save your home from a burglary. Rule 10 of 12. You need to flip your luggage tag over right this second. Rule 10 of 12 is about protecting your home address. Think about the message you are sending. Lucas, a 55-year-old college professor, was at Baltimore Washington International when he noticed a stranger staring intently at his suitcase on the carousel. That standard luggage tag is essentially a billboard telling every criminal in the airport that your house is currently empty and will be for the duration of your trip. Professional thieves often hang out near baggage claims to scout for wealthy zip codes and unattended homes. The fix is to use a luggage tag with a sturdy privacy flap, or, even better, list your office address instead of your home. Some travel pros suggest using only a phone number and an email address. Crime is statistically rare, but Lucas did not want to take the unnecessary risk of inviting a burglar to his front door. Reality check. Most people think the tag is for the airline, but the airline already has your info in their computer system. The tag is only for when the bag gets physically lost. Now that your home is secure, it is time for the final piece of the security puzzle. Rule 11 of 12. Olivia, a 41-year-old pharmacist, sat in the terminal at Minneapolis-St. Paul, staring at her $50 TSA-approved lock. She felt completely secure. Then, she met a security expert who noticed her bag and offered a grim reality check. He explained that almost any standard zipper can be popped open with a simple ballpoint pen in less than 3 seconds. The thief simply pushes the pen tip between the zipper teeth, slides it open, takes what they want, and then zips the bag back up by sliding the locked pulls over the gap. The bag looks untouched. Olivia's face went pale as she realized her lock was essentially useless against a determined thief. The fix is to use a heavy-duty zip tie to link the zipper pulls directly to a fixed handle on the suitcase. While no bag is 100% theft-proof, adding this extra physical hurdle stops most crimes of opportunity because it requires a cutting tool to bypass. It is a simple trick used by professionals in high-risk zones, and it kept Olivia's gear safe for the rest of her journey. Remember, security is about layers, not just a single lock. But what if the biggest threat to your luggage is not a thief, but the very logo on the bag itself? Rule 12 of 12. Does that luxury logo on your suitcase make you feel like a VIP or a target? Rule 12 of 12 is the final piece of your travel strategy. Leo, a 63-year-old retired pilot from Austin, seen it all in his career.
He watched as high-end, monogrammed luggage consistently vanished into the airport system more often than generic bags. Thieves, and even some dishonest handlers, scan for premium brands because they know the contents likely match the price of the bag. Stop. The best way to protect your belongings is to use a plain, generic luggage cover, or buy stealth luxury gear that looks entirely ordinary. Toss a tracking device like an AirTag inside, so you can locate your bag within a 30-foot range using your phone. Leo always told his passengers that a $50 generic bag is far less likely to be targeted than a $5,000 designer statement piece. Keep it simple and keep it subtle. This completes your master plan for navigating the modern airport without becoming a victim of the system. You have the knowledge to protect your gear, your health, and your home. Don't be the passenger the airlines and thieves take advantage of. Join our squad of savvy travelers by hitting that subscribe button